for me, it's history repeats itself, and music has helped me immensely. There's a few things in life that I'd say that I'm still alive for. And one of those are certainly music, and my knowledge in music. It's like one thing that really really helps with that, and I'm sure that you understand, Adam, is expressing your emotions. When you're depressed, pissed off, angry,
Hello, everybody. I am Newbooger, and welcome to the Schmucks Club. To my left, you got...
I am Morbin, also been here for all the episodes. It's fun. You'll notice there is an added person here. This is the founder and CEO of PhatAl Productions, joining us for our episode today, also known by Big Al, a couple other names. But Al, how we doing today, man?
Good, man. I'm good. Just finished work. Lost my voice a little bit. You can tell I'm a little sick, but we're getting in here, man. We're getting in
here. Yeah. The reason we kind of have PhatAl in here is he is a music producer. He's been involved with, listening to, making, even now to the point of selling, and really getting into the passion of it. So he's got a different side to look at music, and where music is always part of everybody's life. Even from before you're born, a lot of mothers will play it to their kids. So you hear music when you're in utero still. Al, what would you say for you? Because now we're making a big deal because you're doing this big. What would you say pushed you past the average user? Everybody listens to music, they love it, they headbang, but there's a step above that you go to get to a level that you're in and increasing at.
There was like a lot of things that really made me interested about first just listening to music. Everyone does that. You're right. You said just everyone does it. Everyone. But like, I started to want to listen to music so much more like in detail. And, when I was, 11, my mom she would, for Christmas or whatever, she gives me a $40, extra bass, headphone, some fat headphone that was in horrible plastic. And I just maxed out the level, and I'm just like squishing the headphones in my ears to get the bass out more. It's like, I always had that, that drive. But I feel like, everyone still, at least headphone wise, they wanted to do that. But where I think it really made more of an impact was like my whole family is into music. Everyone in my family is into music. My father, my brother, like literally everyone. They're just super, super good too. And I'd say my brother's like just a lot smarter than me in like music theory and all that, but not really like a contest. I'm just like, my dad is such a good, okay, all right. So you guys know who, the oldie, what is it? Billy Joel, right?
Yep.
Billy Joel is huge, massive. Absolutely. And my dad is a fanboy. You go downstairs to his music room and there's like, Billy Joel, everything Billy Joel. He literally probably has $1,000 worth of, Billy Joel, like, I don't know, newspapers.
Like just memorabilia stuff everywhere.
Memorabilia everywhere.
Yeah,
and so it's just like,
always been around. You and I have talked before. He's a singer, right? Your dad?
Yeah, my dad's a singer,
the major thing. Obviously, most musicians can do a lot of things, but he's mainly a singer, right?
Yeah, so yeah, he does like the barbershop stuff and like the chorus.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
And he's really, really good. He's like really good at like harmonizing. So that's where I get my like harmonizing in music from. Sometimes I'm like listening to a song and like I start harmonizing with, the chorus or whatever. Just, automatically. I do it all the time. And so, you can catch me doing it when I'm just chilling in my zone. You know how it is.
And to anybody out there that doesn't sing or doesn't try to sing or understand it, harmonizing with a note is I think it's a born skill. I really think you have to be born with it because it's not a melody note. And if you sing it by itself, everybody will think you're off key. When you're not, well, musicians will know that you're in the chord, but it's so hard to find a note because it's an octave's easier. because it's the same note just at a different pitch. You know what I mean? But finding one in between is so precise. So being able to do that is really cool. On that note, being so specific about music, do you think that may have had something that led you into listening to more of what's going on in the background of music?
Yeah, because my dad was one to notice, he when he sings, there's these, I don't remember what the name is. It's like a resonance. Basically, you hit two notes, the exact same note, and in the background you can hear a note like 3 octaves higher.
Oh yeah, it's like a ghost
and the
note.
other guy, right? Yeah, it's like a ghost note almost. That's just like hitting, and it's like super high detail, resonance that you have to be very accurate with. If you're just a little off, it might be a little messed up, and so I think that's where I got my love for like nitpicking, extremely high detail, like stuff like that. But I am also, I enjoy bass. I enjoy I enjoy having a good time as well. But it's like I would much rather be. I enjoy my music when it's accurate more. You know what I mean?
Nice.
When it's more accurate, I like it.
So going into that, because for a lot of us out here, we're not, we know what music is, but we don't know what music is. The type of music that you do isn't necessarily like the band part of music. Like someone like Adam, like we'll say Adam, and I'm just Adam's.
They already know both of our names.
Right? Whatever. Whatever. But anyways, what I was gonna ask you is, you're not like, you don't make the music like Adam would with a band and people standing there. Like, I'm not saying that you probably know instruments, you probably know how to play some instruments or whatever, but your music is your background music. Like you did our background music. So can you kind of go in a little bit, what's the difference between like something what Adam would do as a band and the music that you would do as in background?
Okay, so for me, it's actually a really good question, because to me, there comes a point when it's the exact same thing, like far enough into it, like I can mix or whatever, master once I know how to and what the recommended, because for rap, rock, country, they all have their recommended mastering styles and mixing styles, so you need to really follow with that. But what I'd say is the difference is that Adam would, for example, use like a bass guitar and a regular guitar, and he would record the notes that he's using, and maybe using a music software, maybe realigning those notes to make it in time perfectly, or maybe making it a little bit more equalized. And that's what I'm saying. We're like, what I do is I find sound online, right? I found like a sound pack, a nice melody that I really like, and I just like to mess with it. I mess with it, I flip it upside down, and I slap some 808s and some snares on there, and I try to make it sound as accurate as possible. See, and that's the thing with me, is like I'm still learning, but I'm at the point where I've learned so much that like I mean, I can make a living with this. Now I can get to the point where I'm confident in my past experiences, so I am certain that I could progress the way I need to, right? I could progress the way I need to, basically. So but with Morbid's Adam, sorry, I don't know it.
Morbid's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, with
Whatever you
Morbid's
call
like way of recording, that's like my brother, right? My brother does like the contemporary rock, almost religious contemporary rock, right?
Gotcha.
And so he has like the beautiful piano part, and maybe a saxophone part in there that he puts, and maybe his own drum set that he does, and it's all very, very good. And his vocals in there, it's all beautiful. With me, I like to make more of like a modern rap or lo-fi background music. That's fun to me. It's so fun to me. Like, I think that's also the similarity between those as well, is we both find whatever we do fun, right? Adam may not like the way I make music. I may not like the way he makes music, but when we do it, we enjoy it, right? And so that's really all that matters. Again, that's just
Absolutely.
that's the biggest thing for me. Yeah,
So-
just enjoying it.
Going into that question, I kind of touched on it. Do you play any instruments? Can you actually play instruments, or?
Yes. So I mean, because my dad was super into, the piano, I had to learn how to play the piano a little bit. So I know all the notes and I know, a little bit of the chords, some music theory. Like I said, my brother and my dad, they meshed really well with their form of, they like rock, they're religious as well. So it was really easy to mix in their likes. And so they're both really, really good at what they do. And I'm a literal complete, 180 opposite of music, which is funny because I'm on the same spectrum, if you will, just complete other side, So I'm sorry, I'm a little stoned and I forgot exactly what you were trying to ask me, but that's where I left it off. So.
No, you answered it. The for the instruments, definitely.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. No, I didn't even say the instruments. Yeah, so I play drums.
Oh yeah.
Clarinet.
Yep.
And the clarinet and the saxophone, right? They kind of go hand in hand.
Reed instruments. Yep.
Yeah, because also in band, right, you need a year of clarinet before you can play on saxophone, is what we needed to do.
Gotcha.
So, I played a few years in clarinet, then I played on the alto saxophone, which was super fun, right? Like Sexy Sax Man, I don't know if anyone knows that out there. Like,
did everybody... So I'm guessing everybody in your class wanted to play the saxophone. So the music, because everybody saw it as the cool instrument. So clarinet player here, by the way, 2nd grade through 11th grade.
Sax right here.
Yeah, so the cool guys over here. I just found it really funny that he first started out saying, you first started out saying, you got to play a year of the clarinet before you can play the sax. And I was like, I never got the option to play the sax. I just played the clarinet the whole time. I was like, wow.
What are they trying to say?
What happened? Anyway, that was just it. It's interesting the way that certain instruments are pictured as well or perceived.
Yeah, I mean,
the clarinet is not very manly to most people.
And I could see why you would have to learn how to play the clarinet before you'd play the saxophone. Because I got to be completely honest with you, picking up saxophone just by itself was pretty difficult, in my opinion. I mean, I picked it up when I was young. I think I played it for like 4 or 5 years. Could I remember how to play a saxophone right now? I don't know if I could.
The hardest thing that I would think both the instruments being reed instruments is, and it's going to sound funny, but the mouth position. Trying to remember how to play it the whole time. It's man. Yeah, I remember that. But to see people be able to put the power behind woodwind instruments the way they do without the squeaks, y'all know the squeaks and all that stuff. With them powering through that and getting such a beautiful sound out of those instruments is just, it's crazy. It's amazing to me.
It's impressive. Yeah. Impressive.
Yeah. So with all this music in your life and it's been around, what pushes you specifically to create a business around this, to push it, to bring it to the next level every single day? I've heard you put down tracks that sound killer.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
He's like, oh yeah, I just threw this together. It's got a little bit more work, and he works hours and hours. So there's something in you. What pushes you? What pushes you past everybody else right now?
You're like, mainly it's just like, for me, it's history repeats itself, and music has helped me immensely. There's a few things in life that I'd say that I'm still alive for. And one of those are certainly music and my knowledge in music. It's like one thing that really, really helps with that, and I'm sure that you understand, Adam, is expressing your emotions. When you're depressed, pissed off, angry, whatever, happy as hell, you could be ecstatic. Yeah, exactly. It's like every emotion, but mainly
I was just picturing
negative,
achy breaky heart when he's depressed. Don't tell my heart. He's just so sad about it.
So sad, but that's what he wants you to understand about where he's at, and so when I and I get impressed with so many songs and artists with the emotion that they can bring out, and it brings out emotion in me. Yeah, across every single genre possible. Even country. And I don't like country, okay, but there are songs that make me emotional when I listen to it on country because my mom used to listen to it. There's a history behind shit like that. And so
you can appreciate it. You can appreciate it.
Yeah. That's also another level of being a music I don't know the word, and it's because it's not aficionado. That's too official, too high. It's not an expert. You know what I mean? It's somebody who takes enthusiast. I would say good word. Yeah. The difference is that you don't listen to everything, but you can find and respect the musicianship in almost any type of music. I mean, I think classical music gets the worst rep. I mean, country is the punching bag because everybody's and they can just make fun of it. But I think if you like, what music do you hate besides country? Everybody's gonna be like classical. But if you take time to listen to it, God and I have gone through, sorry, nicknames here. Al and I have gone through many times where we bring out the music that is not in our genres, but we just sit there in awe, and you can hear I think it's connection. It's not whether a song is good or not. It's always connection. And the better artists that can connect with you are the ones that are still here. Billy Joel, you mentioned that. I guarantee you, my kid's heard a Billy Joel song and he likes it. You know what I mean? That guy goes hard every time.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, like Michael Jackson, for example. I mean, everybody can make fun of Michael Jackson for what Michael Jackson is, but the guy could make music. I mean, there's songs by Michael Jackson that I enjoy, and I certainly don't enjoy that genre of music. So
the thing is it's weird to try to say it, but separating just the music out.
Yeah, for sure.
You know? Because people can be completely terrible people. And unfortunately, maybe they are, but if they put together a piece of music that is like phenomenal, the Thriller, I mean, that piece of music is genius, you know? And if you're going to tarnish the song and the music and the musicality because he was everything that he was and what everybody believes and doesn't believe, we won't go into that. And you're going to tarnish that beautiful piece of music just because of that, it's hard line to separate, but I think it goes up to enthusiasts like what Al was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
You can separate it.
For sure.
Yeah, and I'd say like a big one is just like when you know how to make music, or at least a certain genre of music, that's what makes you appreciate it, because now you get to a point where, you know, let's bring up video games, for example. It's so much easier to watch someone hit ace someone in Valorant. It's so much easier to watch it on YouTube, right, for the first time and be like, oh, that was cool. And then when you start playing it for 100 hours and then you watch that same clip and you're like, holy crap, like how did they do that? Yeah, that's not even possible right now for me. Like, and that's where I'm at for a lot of, like, you know, I'm not at the Hollywood, you know, professional level yet. So, you know, I listen to these songs and I'm like, how are they putting that there? Like, how is that happening? And it's really just interesting to me to be like, just to learn. Learning is also super fun for me. I mean, not really. Actually, you mentioned something, Adam, about Billy Joel and your son liking like the music. When I was young, I didn't like Billy Joel. I didn't like anything that my dad listened to. It was weird, you know. It was like, because your dad listened to it. You're not supposed to like something your dad likes. He likes mowing the lawn and wearing, you know, white sneakers. You know, like, that's not me. And so, but you know, literally as I got older, then I'm listening to all of these, you know, all of the Billy Joel songs that I was missing out on. I'm like, they're so good. They're so good. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've always liked Creedence Clearwater Revival. I love that old style of theirs. Yep. And so what I ended up doing was in the music program I have, you can listen to a radio station based around a song. And if I go, or an artist or whatnot, and I'll pick one of my song from them that I like Bad Moon Rising or something, and I'll go to the radio. What is really weird is like every other song is exactly the song that was on the radio for my mom. The soft rock song is we're driving down to New Hampshire that I'm like, and here I am, just now I'm listening to it. I'm like, oh, listen to that.
It's funny. Once you get to the older age, you're like, oh, this is actually this is bumping.
Yeah, you get a little bit, because it's a different. You get I think that maybe you develop the feeling of the song, because when you're a kid, it's a lot of notes to you, and it's beboppy, and you're more going for the fun beboppy. That's why pop works, is because that blast your works. But as you get older, you want something that's more kind to your ears, where it gives you kind of everything. And one of the things that most people don't understand that Al could explain more is being able to hear instruments at different distances from you. We all hear music, and the easiest way for me to tell you is like you're looking at a screen. It's a sheet, and you hear all the music just comes at you, and not like overwhelming, but it's just the same. All the sounds are the same, and it's just they're all coming from the same, which is great, stereo sound. But there's another level that Al tells me about all the time, and it's really cool.
So yeah,
I mean, it's insane.
tell us about that. So what Adam or Morbid's talking about, because for someone like me, I guess to some extent I hear it differently. Like I could be like, oh man, that bass is sick, you know, or I can be like, ah man, that guitar is a little off key there, like that doesn't make any sense. But tell us about it, because I certainly, especially sitting there, I have to tell you, everyone, like I enjoy learning about different things. So like law, music, things that I don't know, I enjoy taking in all that information. So when you show me a video of how you're creating, like when you showed me how you were creating our theme song here, or our background music that you are all listening to now, it fascinates me, because you're listening to things and you're hitting the, you know, that what do they call that one, that you know, that little beat, and you're like, oh yeah, no.
Right.
And then you change it and I'm like, what the hell did you just change? I can't hear it, but I know you can, and I know you're like, oh man, that's still a little off, let me readjust. And I'm like, the hell are you talking about right now? I don't hear anything different, man. So tell me about that. Explain to me. I mean, I guess I know what you're doing, but explain to me your process when you're listening to that.
Okay, so I really want to stay on topic on this one because I know myself. So please, God, please. I mean, me, myself, please don't do this. Okay.
We'll try to keep you back if you get too far.
Thank you. Okay, it all starts off with like how you listen to your music, right? So that's why I have very expensive headphones. You know, these are over $1,000 headphones, and the detail soundstage is like a little more than a closed back, and that's just what I want, right? So
explain soundstage to people that don't know what soundstage is.
Yeah,
real quick.
yeah, please.
I'll bring you back on. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Okay. So what soundstage is it's essentially the size. It's like the room that the music is being sent out to you. Okay. So let's say that you're listening to some nice guitar player, right? And then you hear a ooh, right, in the, you know, on the left side, and they sound like they're 10 feet away. And it's like oh my God. And then you hear like the guitar on the left, and then maybe you hear some vocalists in the back. That's what a headphone with an insane sound stage will do to you, is it'll make you be like, you know, or if you've ever had like those like fucked up videos where someone makes like a knocking noise, right? Do, 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 do. With more soundstage, it'll literally sound like 30 feet away from you. Someone made a knock and you're about to die, right? Like it's that it's that scary, right? You're like, oh crap, someone's here. So that's the gist of it. With these, it's essentially more like it's a wall. Right now I have 2 walls, but they're a little spaced out for me. And so what I can do is, with that music, right, and like how I can start to like hear that detail, it's all about how you've heard music in the past. So it took me like 4 or 5 years just to listen to music with like relatively okay sounding headphones, so I can understand like, okay, there's a little bit of detail you're missing here. There's something you're missing here. That's why you can't make music on a laptop speaker, and it's not going to sound the same as if you made it on a really high $100,000 setup, right? That's why people spend money on that stuff, because it's important.
Right. The studios and stuff, yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's you know, you just start hearing that stuff, and for me, it's you need to listen to as many varieties as possible, including ones you don't like, and that's really important, because even if you don't like it, there might be a little rhythm in there, like there might be something, there might be a little shaker in there in the back that you're like, oh wait, I kind of like how it rhymes, and like how it, you know, how it makes me feel. So then you add it on to your rap beat or whatever, right? Maybe it was a country song, and you add it to your rap beat. So for me, I love listening to like rhythm, you know, dubstep, EDM, heavy wub-wubs, but not like your old, you know, Skrillex, Wub Wub songs. I'm talking about like, you know, people doing like Xanax, you know, Molly's, like snorting as much as they can and then making some insane, you know, like, you know, dubstep song while they're under the influence. It's just like, that's what I get from it. When I listen to it, I'm like, okay, I want to get fucked up. Right? When I listen to this song, I'm like, oh my god!
Because the passion from the level.
I got you. Yeah.
They have a drug-induced level that literally the passion will match.
Yeah, it'll match. And psychedelics also, okay? Not to say that I've done it or whatever, but I have reason to believe that when you are on psychedelics, music feels more just emotionally impactful, okay? At the end of the day, what are we trying to get out of your music? Are you trying to cry? Are you trying to, you know, be happy? Or are you playing Rocket League and you're trying to focus and you're trying to feel like a fucking winner? Like a god, right? You're like, oh, dude, I want to win this, and I'm gonna listen to some heavy metal fucking, and you're just going at it, right? Like you need to feel like which one are you going for, and that's why I love music, because you can go on and on, right? All the heavy metal stuff. I mean, Adam, you know, Boog, you both like have a wide variety of music you listen to, even though you may not think it is. Okay, when you go to country and then you go to some,
that's
very different.
The video that's going around that I show everybody.
Yeah.
Which one? The reaction video with the girl. Yeah, exactly. And so and she's a perfect explanation for. She's a perfect example of like someone that doesn't know, but is like into it, you know. Yeah. And that's how I was with that dubstep. Nice. Right, but it's like. Okay, look, and here's another thing that you guys may not know. The mixing on heavy metal is there's so many instruments. It's, even for expensive headphones, it's really hard to get that big size that you want.
Yeah, I bet there's a lot of muddling, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on, you get a lot of mud right in the middle.
No, it's not even, I mean, with these, it's like super, super clear, but the low end and like the rumble that you want, when it comes to heavy metal, when you want to hear that kick and you want to hear that low fucking that riff, right? And then like with speakers with huge subwoofers, you'll do fine. You don't have to worry about heavy metal with that. But when it comes to like, you know, heavy detail, heavy metal is mixed and mastered in such a way that not a lot of people know. Like they don't realize. I have realized, and it's so hard for me to explain it. It's more of an open. It's more of a full sound. Like imagine your song coming from everywhere around you and then some. Like that's how they did it, because they want you to be surrounded by just that pure raw power. And so yeah, that's just. Anyway.
I can give you, being a medicinal marijuana patient, which is also not a hallucinogen or anything like that, but it does give you the euphoric feeling. When you bring yourself to a happier, positive place and you feel better, and then you start to create music, every emotion comes right through that song. You can't hide it. And that's why you see one of my favorite performances is when Kelly Clarkson won the first American Idol. She's been singing her entire life and she couldn't get through a song because all the emotion from starting to sing that song was way too much. You know what I mean? But it can go any way. You can become really happy, and that's where you get these, you know, love ballad, whatever it is that comes out, or the crazy rap hits because they're happy about making money and they're, you know, or you're depressed and miserable, and that's when people listen to that music, you know, because we're humans. We have this unreal ability to go against what we know we should do. I'm really sad. I should listen to happy music. Nope. Throw all that out. I'm going to listen to sad shit for the next week.
Well, and also, I just want to point out that, first of all, you're goddamn right. Second of all, you could also say that about those who make the music, right? Like, why is this rapper saying, I got all the money, I got all the bitches? Because right now he's happy and he has all the money and all the bitches. Like,
exactly.
Like, it's literally like a direct reflection almost. You know, it can be a direct reflection of how you feel in the moment. Now, there are moments where there are artists that are horrible people that make amazing music, or really happy music and are super depressed, right? There's always a mix. But for me, at least, when I'm really sad, when I'm really depressed, I make some sad, depressed music that sounds really good, right? It makes me want to cry. It makes me want to just release that emotion, right? And then, but like, it's just like, you still need to you need to have a drive within it, okay? Anything music, okay? Like, that's what's amazing about this whole life thing is like, you can do a whole lot with it. And when it comes down to music, like, you can make it in a whole lot of ways. You know, Boog has been saying, you know, he's been showing me a whole lot of his, well, you know, in the past, a lot of his music stuff, right? You know, it might be a little simple, you know, Boog and Morbid, as well as Ludacris, right? Ludacris would be showing me some of his music and stuff. I'm sure you guys, you know, I don't know, Boog, have you heard of some of his stuff? Like
Ludacris?
Yeah.
Yeah, get back,
No,
motherfucker.
not the rapper Ludacris. I'm talking about sinister Ludacris.
No, I have not.
All right, fair. I mean, again, he's someone that I could admire because there's certain things that he does that I don't do. And I was like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I can take into the account. So, you know, Boog and Morbid, next time you guys start making music, you know, show me, because I might be inspired by you guys. You know, you guys might think, shit, you know, yeah, you're such a, you know, you're so good at making. I get inspired by the simplest of shit. I get inspired by things you say. Yeah, exactly. Like, you can say something and it'll be like, oh,
100%.
that's
Yeah,
something I got to do on the beat. Yeah, it's like you can just say something and I'll be like, oh.
It's interesting how you point out it's like your emotions come out in your music when you're making music. I mean, you have to look at Linkin Park and Chester and his whole situation. I mean, you could tell in his music how hurt inside he actually was, and it's
that last song, one more light.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's wow.
Creepy, scary.
Yeah, it really is.
You know,
you've heard that, God?
One
last. Yeah. So hold on, I never remember the name of it because it's one more. Hold on.
But I mean, the point is it's, I mean, you could hear it in his music throughout the years. It doesn't matter where you get through. I mean, you look,
one more light.
Crawling.
Sorry.
You listen to In the End. Just anything you listen to, you could tell, especially the music that he created. It's like, oh wow, yeah, that
chorus in that chorus smash beat during In the End, when it just cut, when the chorus, because they always had that updraft right before they came into their chorus.
Yeah.
And I can just remember the when you see the video, and that's what I miss is back in the day, the video was also very, very theatrical and important, because remember they were on the edge of that big old tower and he would just stomp wham, and
yeah.
Like, oh, it was just it gave you that power. And I still, to this day, anytime I hear that song, doesn't matter what it is, I see the videos to that, and that's what it just tied in, but it's all emotions.
Yep, 100%. So I mean, I just had to point out that you definitely, no matter what artist you look at and you see, you can tell the passion that actually comes. Taking in mind the people who actually put the passion into the music, you can take a look at a lot of artists and be like, "Oh, you're just making stupid fucking music," is what you're making.
Phoning it in.
I'll say one thing about that too. After you, Boog.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, that's. It's really important to also understand that you need to make music that's relatable as well. Yeah. So, you know, there's a mixture between relatable music and mental health, you know, and like you can be mentally unhealthy and make extremely good relatable music. That's why, you know, Linkin Park, you know, that's why it hit so hard, because when you're having a bad day and you listen to that music, it's relatable. It's not like he's not rapping about making trillions of dollars and being in limousines and stuff, things that you can't relate to, right? He's saying, I tried so hard and got so far, in the end, it doesn't even matter. Like, when do we think about that, right? When do we say that to ourselves? We say that all the time to ourselves.
All the time. Yeah.
And, you know, there's a rapper, XXX, you know, Tentacion, that also used to make some incredibly depressing music. You know, I know you guys don't really listen to rap, you know, too much, but you know, there was a guy. There was a song that he made about a girl named Jocelyn Flores, and Jocelyn Flores, she is a suicide victim, basically, and he was just in love with her. You know, was just a really good friend, and just explained how he was so depressed he just wanted to fucking kill himself. He says, "I want to fucking end it." You know, pessimistic. You know, people having conversations about my haste decisions. Fucking sickening. Like, you know, he's like showing you all of these like sides to him that you would usually never see had something fucked up not happen to him, you know?
Right.
And so
yeah.
that's where I can also find appreciation in anything, is like, if I know, like, there's only one song I can think of that's like a dubsteppy song that's an emotionally impactful song. Because like, you listen to it and you go, what was wrong with this guy? It's so good, but it's like liquidy, watery, like, you know, like weird sounds, like the sub bass is hitting you, and you're just going, I just hope he's okay, you know? Like,
you feeling it, you're like, he's playing some bad games at home.
Yeah, like
that's that's the same thing with Slipknot in their most recent album, and how they lost
Paul Gray.
Yeah, and how he killed himself, and their first song was 100% about that. It was about him taking his life and how that made them feel, and how that made them feel. It's interesting because they put it in a way, and if you really listen to it, it's, you know, how, I don't want to say how he portrayed them, but how it made them feel like he portrayed them. Like, we were here for you, you should have came to us. And it's just
It's a very, very valid feeling. I think that should be. I think that's the only feeling that you should have.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just that song always got to me because the fact that it's like, you know, I've had friends take their lives, and I felt betrayed that they did that. It's like, hey, you know, I go through hard times. I've gone through just as many hard times as you, and why the hell did you leave me?
Yep.
You know,
so like a selfish. It's almost like, you know, you were selfish for doing that, and you didn't care about what I would feel.
I just like just because we're talking about, if you know, there's hotlines, there's things that you can contact. I don't want to say that your feelings don't matter. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that that's a feeling that a lot of people get with suicide. I mean, obviously, if you need help, contact any one of us. I guarantee you any one of us would talk to you about it. But absolutely. You know, it's just, a lot of people have that feeling, and that's not to take away from what that person was feeling, and I could certainly relate to them for sure and why they did it. But it's just that's the emotion that comes out in music, and you can really feel that emotion, whether it's I want to take my own life, or I'm going through this bad addiction that I'm trying to kick and I can't kick, and I feel like I'm failing everyone around me, to, man, my life is awesome, I love everybody, let's do this, you know, party music. So
yeah, speaking of the uptick party music, and Al being, well, this is just an interesting thing. We talk about the music now, the popular music. We're not talking about like the music that God produces, that Al produces over here.
Certified free, 7 days a week, wet ass pussy, make that pull-out game weak. You mean that music?
That's how she's feeling. It's a valid emotion.
So this is what I'm talking about is, Al, what do you think? Hold on, let me word this perfectly for you, because it's a directed question, and it'll give you an easy way to answer it. Not a forced answer, because the music that's being like fantasized about right now, that song comes out, and musicians like you and I and all of us here, Boog and everybody, we listen to it and we're like, why do you like this music?
Yeah, exactly. Why is that popular?
Yeah, so the main question because there are songs that you have to admit that do catch on, that are pretty, that do qualify as good music, but the majority that we hear tend to be stuff that you and I are just like,
Why are what happened to my ears? Why are they bleeding right now?
What do you think the push is behind that type? Not like, why do they do it? They do it to make money. We all know that. It's money.
Absolutely.
Money.
Yeah, props to them. They make a shit ton of money. Yeah, dude.
Exactly.
Props to them,
Yeah, you got an 808 ching is what it is. So, but what do you think on the consumer side that people are hearing? Is it that the society has dumbed down so much that if you just repeat the same thing in somebody's ear, they like it? Or do you think it's, what do you think it is? Where do you think the attraction to the more basic, I will say,
let's say extreme, like, you know, Ed Sheeran type music, like extremely popular, like
Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, like all that crap. Yeah,
okay, all these rappers. Okay, all right. So rappers.
It's not even just rappers.
Everybody together.
Yeah, it's
all the people together that make music right now. That you and I and John over here we all hear it and we go, why do you think this is music? You know what I mean? It's just that popular music, the annoying music that we think's annoying. Maybe because
I think one of the big motivators is, aside from money, it's the trend right now, right, in the Hollywood era is fashion, design, flexing. You know, don't be poor. Don't be a fucking peasant in front of me. What are you fucking doing with those $200 shoes, you fucking peasant? Like, that's the sort of thing. And so when you get Megan Thee Stallion and all of these, you know, rappers or even singers, you know, Drake, you know, type sing rappers or whatever, it's not only relatability, but it's the complete opposite. You know, people like hearing what they'll never have or what they may never be able to get. And I also think that it's a matter of what you said, like the dumbing down of the society. I wouldn't say it's like a dumb down. It's just like, we want to hear a certain sound, you know, like you said, we want to hear a certain sound, but just a little different, right? You know, maybe play the same song, but just like make it, you know, 4 notes higher. Fuck it.
Right.
And it'll be like, so, but one reason for that is the human mind and the human brain, like scientifically, there are certain notes and certain frequencies that we just vibe with a lot more.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you about that. Like, do you think that they have finally found the notes that the human brain or the ears and all that combined loves to hear, and they just keep playing it over and over and over again?
I like to say it's that too, but I also say that it's 100% as well how your subwoofer. Okay. Low end is extremely fucked of a thing to have to deal with. And there are certain notes and certain, you know, I don't like the keys that you can make your music at. Certain sub notes just hit simply harder and more juicy and more sub bassy and thumpy, right? So
just by changing the frequency, not the power behind it.
Because the frequency, exactly.
Yeah, we used to do this. We used to have a CD. That we would just play bass notes through. It was for competitions. Yeah, CD. It's called compact disc. For people that don't know, it was a little round thing about this big. Anyway, and what it would do, it had like 100 tracks, but it was like 10 seconds at like 10 hertz, 15 hertz, 20 hertz, and you would leave the volume on the same, you know, medium thing, and as you went through it, you would hit a couple of those notes and it would just
and you want to turn it up. Yeah, you want to turn it up right at the this is the shit right here. Right, you know, you know, we talk about music and relatability and what you guys are talking about. I mean, and I think half of it has to deal with woke culture. I mean, we won't go into it, but I think half of that is it definitely has to do with the times that we're in and the woke culture and the cancel culture and the reason. And I honestly, at the end of the day, I don't knock Cardi B. I don't knock Megan Thee Stallion. I don't mock Dre. Or, you know, these people, they're making music people are enjoying and they love, and why wouldn't you do that? You want to make money. That's the point of it. I personally nowadays listen to, I'm not like a huge rap fan, but if I listen to rap, I listen to Tom McDonald. You guys have to have heard of him.
He's a good one.
Yeah.
Independent artist.
Sings,
Yeah.
doesn't he sing lyricist versus mumble rapper?
Yes, he does.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Oh wait,
maybe I don't know.
Somebody like him. Anyway, we were talking about like the difference between the music, and he popped up, but it's okay. We're good.
Vin J.
It was Vin J. That's right.
Vin J.
That's really cool,
yes,
he
yeah.
sings both parts and he raps against them. And literally, the mumble rapper the whole time is being like, "I don't have to be creative. All I have to do is keep saying the same old thing with an 808." And the other guy's like, "You're ruining it. We're doing all the work." It's a good, and he's doing both parts.
See, like from Fake Woke, one of my favorite lines is he talks about hate their neighbors because he wears a mask or he stays home, has a daughter, but his favorite artist says he slays hoes, picks her up at school, music slaps on the way home. So that's what you're listening to. You listen to, like, these people don't know what they're listening to. And it's like, I have this daughter, I'm trying to teach my daughter to be, empowered woman, but I'm also at the same time listening to this music that talks about, and old school rappers do it too, 50 Cent and Dre and all of them talk about bitches and hoes, and we listen to it and it's like, and there's your daughter sitting in the back seat. It's like, and why are you listening to that crap if that's what you want your daughter to be? So I mean,
and to them, they're, I'll say, to that culture, right? There's a difference between hoes, bitches, and women.
Yeah.
Like, there's a woman and then there's a hoe or whatever, right? And I'm not going to speak for whoever. I'm just saying, like, a lot of people say that. So I mean, that's still not a reason to say, to start rapping about women as if they're material items or just some sort of fuck buddy, whatever. It's not really like that. But I'd also like to point out that the vocals are, if only 50%, if that, of the whole song that you're listening to.
Absolutely.
Right. And so the beat, for me, when I listen to a mumble rapper, when I listen to Future, when I listen to, like, what was it called? I don't remember. Percocet, Mask Off. Thank you.
Mask Off. Would you consider Lil Wayne a mumble rapper?
Lil Wayne is a mumble rapper, but he's an artist.
Okay.
He's a variety artist. He's 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Because he's the one that I always love. I love everything about Lil Wayne, and everybody's like, "Are you kidding me?" They're like, "Dude, you're retarded." You know what I mean? Like, you're dumb.
Yeah.
But because the mumble rapper did, though. Like, when he does it, you can still hear it.
It's understandable.
It still makes it. You make sense of what he's saying. It's not like,
it's
there
like
are some people out there.
It's like Corey Taylor and Slipknot with his scream, where most of them you can't understand. You can still understand what Corey Taylor is trying to tell you. That's how I look at Lil Wayne. And I like Lil Wayne. And I just want to say, like, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, all these, again, they're good artists and they have made good music. They're all talented. Yeah, for sure.
Really, regardless if you hear a song and people are like, "Oh, they ain't got no talent," and I'm like,
that's bullshit.
That's exactly how that one person out of the 3 million people behind them got the record deal.
Right.
Yeah, they got no talent.
Yeah, right. They
made ungodly talent.
They, especially the ones that have made their own music, like Nicki Minaj. We'll just talk about. She's done some.
I love her when she raps.
Yeah, she's actually really talented. Cardi B's actually really talented. Megan Thee Stallion, when you listen to her rap, she's very talented. Maybe I don't care about the lyrics, but the reason that I wanted to mention Tom McDonald is because you yourself, with PhatAl and PhatAl Productions, are an independent artist yourself. And it's not an easy environment. And I just wanted to mention that it's, as an independent artist, it is very, very possible for you to make, I don't want to say make it big, but get up there, get your name out there, because someone like Tom McDonald, he did it. He's one of the top rappers right now.
And this is a huge thing that I didn't think about till now, but like, yes, I'm an independent. I'd say I'm an independent, producer, because I don't like rapping. I'm not a rapper,
Mm-hmm.
There has been moments where I was like, you know what, I could rap. I could just rap myself and make my own music, and then let's say I blow up. That'd be so cool, right? Awesome. But like, the main reason why there are certain people that shouldn't be there are there is because simply money, but not what you think. It's the fact that they have money and that they're willing to spend it. And then, okay, it's actually more of like a connection, right? If you have a connection with someone, right? So if you know a manager for, Lil Baby or whatever, and you can get in with them, then they can start giving you all those, like you said, rappers are really, really talented. Look, there's a lot of rappers out there, okay, that are really talented that will never see the light of day.
Yeah, it's about getting spotted and being seen somehow.
It really, at the end of the day, is everything else but the rapper.
Yeah.
It's literally everything else. It's the sponsorship, it's the beat itself, the production, how it was made, how it was mixed and mastered, how the vocals were mixed and mastered with the beat, and how Spotify and all of those other, huge
platforms,
franchises want your master to sound like. Hell, I don't know if you know this, but sometimes they will even master it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You submit the song and they'll be like, oh, it's not loud enough. And then they'll increase the loudness.
They'll do whatever they want,
just because.
And what I was gonna say is, we were talking about the fact that when everybody says that the artist is no talent, what they really should see is the people that are getting the final say in how the song plays out aren't musically talented. Because
Absolutely.
they're business people, So when you hear "Hit Me Baby One More Time," if you have heard Britney Spears actually sing, she has a great voice. But they put her in a schoolgirl uniform and gave her a little voicey voice, and that sold. Do you think that was what she went to Hollywood to do?
No.
Hollywood to make money.
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
and that's what it is. It's remarkable how many celebrities and musicians and everybody are now coming forward with guns blazing about Hollywood, right in the face of Hollywood, being like, so musicians, if you want to make it, I'm just going to let you know that they're going to take all your money and they're going to change how you play your music. Like, they are just blasting Hollywood without any remorse right now, and I think it finally needs to come out, because it's not a pretty place.
Look at what happened to Britney Spears. How her, she had her mental breakdown. Her father took everything. Her parents took everything from her. She's been living as a fucking slave for as long as she has. I feel so bad for Britney Spears, man. Like, legit, what's happened to her in her life? I feel bad.
Slave song.
Michael Jackson. Slave was made by fucking that was actually originally made for Janet Jackson by I was
just wondering if she agreed to do it because she felt like a slave in her life and tried with like a hitting meeting,
Right. But you look at what happened with Michael Jackson and why he had his fucking mental breakdowns and how he didn't have a childhood because they treated him like a slave. Michael Jackson would have been complete. I guarantee it. If Michael Jackson wasn't in the career as a kid and waited until he got older and he turned 18, I guarantee you it would be a different situation for Michael Jackson. His life was fucked up. You look at Billie Jean in that song. That was about the fact of was it Tina Turner who actually ends up being his mother or something?
I don't remember what it is.
But he just lived a whole fucked up situation because of Hollywood and because of his father. And look at what happened to him. And,
fucked up. What I will say is that what's horrible about this whole thing is that without everything happening to him the way it did, he would not be nearly as big. Yeah, and it would be.
There's so that, right.
He may have turned into one of the 3 million behind the artist, because
had he not done exactly
that anger and that the emotion that was forced on him that he had to eventually put into his music may not have been there, you know? That's that butterfly effect, man. Woo! Let's not get into that. I won't be able to sleep tonight.
Yeah, no kidding.
It almost seems like all of the famous artists are like super big. You know, let's say you know, Eminem, for example. They've had fucked up lives, right?
Oh, terrible lives,
Most, if not all of these artists have had fucked up lives, and they make incredible music, like the best we've ever heard, right?
Sure.
You know, controversially or whatever. But it's like, you know, Eminem with what he's gone through, living in the, you know, conditions that he had to live in. You know, hell, they made a movie about it. I mean, that's how fucked up of a life he had. Like, they had to make a movie about, and also how, like, I don't know, it was fucked up, but it was also like incredibly amazing, right? Like the turnaround of such a, you know, like the slums, right? You know, to nothing, literally from nothing to everything. And that's what's really impressive to looking at these artists that, hey, you might not like them, but there are certain artists, you know, certain mumble rappers that made it, and they would have been selling drugs for the rest of their life, right? And, you know, living in horrible situations. And so, you know, because of music, they were able to at least, you know, get out of that and maybe, you know, do more with their lives.
Public Enemy. Public Enemy is another good one with that. I mean, look at what happened with them. They were, I mean, 50 Cent got shot 5 times or whatever, even though he's now lost all of his money due to, you know, some problems. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It's like they make good music. I mean, but you can make good music. Hence the point why, I mean, I'm not going to go into if your life was fucked up, because personally, I don't know. And I don't, you don't have to.
I will be open a little bit.
You don't have to.
Beginning.
I'm just gonna.
No, I will. No, this is the start. No. I got you. I will say that, like, late elementary, all of middle school, most of high school, I was like, you know, being extremely bullied. Right? I was the bigger kid.
Yeah.
I kind of had a, you know, like a higher pitched voice at the time because, you know, just whatever, right? And, you know, I'd get bullied a lot.
I couldn't picture you with a high-pitched voice at all,
dude,
man.
I swear to God, I used to have a high-ass pitch voice. I used to be
You're the one that I want.
Literally that. I didn't have to try. I just did it.
Yeah.
But no, like, yeah, it started off with that, you know, but no, I didn't have a horrible life, you know, I didn't have, you know, I lived in very, very good conditions most of life, you know, find my parents split up when I was 6 years old, right? I never saw my mom and dad happy with each other, right? My mom and dad have always been fighting or like, you know, when they were married at least, right? They were always fighting and shit. So, you know, when they got separated, it actually got easier, right? Because they were separated and they could actually, you know, air down. I had more than one house, so that was kind of cool, right? And so, you know, it started off with that, but you know, then it slowly became.
It brings a new calm for you.
Yeah,
the tension goes away. It might be that big thing that sucks, where all of a sudden you don't see one of them as much as you used to, but the tension around is enough to offset that, I think.
I had the same. My whole life was the same thing. My parents split up, and it actually was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. Best and worst thing that ever happened, because I went to live with my mother and then got into things that I shouldn't have got into, and you know, so yeah, but I still saw my father. It's not like I lost my father. You know, my father's still around, and
Good.
But I hear you.
Yeah, and luckily, you know, my parents live less than 15 minutes away from each other. You know, if I really need to go see my mom, I can go see my mom. You know, I live at my dad's house, but you know.
Pop question, hotshot. When you think back, excuse me for a second, when you think back to 6 years old and the split and that big emotional moment, what song or artist will come to mind from then?
Ooh. You know what? I have a darker one for you. I
like dark. Give it to me.
So when I was 6 years old, I didn't really. I have reason to believe I was not very smart until about like 17 or 18. I was very stupid until about then. Okay, I was very oblivious. But I'd say that one thing that really impacted me musically was Mexican music, with my mom listening to Mexican music. And one of them was,
Wow.
you know, she had a fiance that unfortunately, you know, he died in like, you know, a car crash in some horrific accident.
It's too bad.
And we would go to the place that, you know, he died, and my mom would blast the song that they'd have, open up all the doors, and then go to his cross and just weep for 30 minutes. And for me, at the time, I'm sitting there going, hurry up, mom, I want to go home. I didn't care, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the music, I was annoyed by the music because of Mexican music. I didn't like the Hispanic sort of like, you know, just vibes at the time. I love Mexican music right now. Like, that's one of my favorite genres, okay? And I meme it all the time. Yeah. But yeah, that's one that like really hit me, was that certain just, it was almost like a, you know, just like a Mexican dude singing about some sad shit. I didn't know what he's singing, but you could just tell that he's bringing it to you. He's just like laying it on the, he's just, and you know, my mom in the back weeping and weeping and weeping, right? So it's like, you know, right now it impacts me a lot more than when it did before. You know, if you make me think back on it, right? That was a super big impactful moment when it comes to music too.
Good connection.
It's like wanting to, you know, because my mom was so emotionally impacted by that too. So I wanted to be almost like, you know, I want to make something my mom could cry to as well, right? Maybe not if she, you know, this is another really morbid thought, but like just, you know, because I've suffered with, you know, suicidal, you know, tendencies and, you know, depression and all that. Thank God I'm not into it, you know, into nothing right now. But, you know, there were some times where I make music and I'm like, these are my memories, right? I'm gonna be making this for the people, like when I'm gone forever, right? When I'm like, you know, like it's just such an emotionally, you know, driven thing too. It's like, I want to, you know, add my mark to the world. So does everyone else. But music is such a weird like niche, right? Because it's not a physical thing. You can't, I mean, it is a physical thing, but you can't physically make like the emotion that music gives you. You need to listen to music in order to get that emotion.
It's also one of your only memories that you can physically reproduce by yourself without any other help. You can sing it. You don't have to be a good singer. You can hum it. You can tap that favorite drum rhythm of yours. It stays with you. You have memories up here. If you know, if I try to tell you what it was like when I stepped on stage my first time as a bassist with like 50 people, I can only tell you. There's no way, and I can't even do it again. But if you hear a piece of music and you can sing it to yourself, it's always with you. So that's crazy.
That's really cool. I mean, it's a cool thought. Do you have Mexican heritage?
No, so I'm Italian.
Yeah.
My mom's Italian, and my dad's a little bit Greek. So you know, I have a weird little mix there. I say I'm like 50% Italian, and
literally like that most impactful song was caused because of the boyfriend, husband. What was it?
Yeah, so I mean, it was the fiance, right?
Fiance. That's what it was. Of course, I think some guy 2 out of 3 got the wrong one.
What was it, brother? Sorry.
Was it his second cousin from his mother's side? Was that?
Guys, I can't be here. I don't know Common Core math. I'm sorry.
Was it him or his dog? It
was a Chihuahua. I got you.
Speaking of that, I saw some fucked up video yesterday. He's some YouTuber that I love watching, and out of nowhere, I pick a video from like 4 years ago. He's like, "Hey guys, so I just wanted to, you know, I was just at I don't know why we're bringing this up, but he's like,
you're good
because this is you
with my girlfriend, and she has a Chihuahua, and the Chihuahua jumped out of the window while they were driving, and literally died like on the spot. And then he starts crying. I was like, why are you putting that on YouTube? Like, why are you doing this to me? So anyway,
that is a really good example of how out of control social media is. And we're gonna bookmark this and eventually probably add a link right here to the future episode in which we talk about social media ruining lives.
For sure. But you were saying that it was her husband or fiance or what? Fiance
that really got me into into witnessing how music, as well as the situation that you're in, it helps with easing the mind, being emotionally more stable. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know anyone. Okay, when I'm really when I'm in shock depression, when something happens in your life and you're just like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah,
you get they pull the plug. Like your energy, you can't charge anymore. You just feel the
kills
drain.
you, man. It's horrible.
There's no upticks at all. It just slowly
exactly.
Yep.
No music either. Like that's me too. I don't listen to any music when I'm in that state, and it sucks. Like it really sucks because it's like, how do you expect me to make music when I'm in a state if I can't even listen to it, right? And so there's like a huge battle, but I'd say that, in my life, just to finish off how I think I started making music was, I got bullied a lot, and there was not a lot I could do until I learned how to fight, But, before I started learning how to fight, it was all music. It was all like when I was depressed and I felt like I was, getting bullied or whatever, I would just make some lo-fi, sad, music that makes you it's like a space where you can think about your problems, right? It's like a soft, and like the background music even now that I made for you guys, it's something that it's not like a depression song, but you can think on it, right? When you listen to it,
that's why I wanted it.
About your life, right? You start thinking about whatever you want, and so that was a big thing for me, was like needing to express myself in a way that I could also feel special, right? Everyone wants to feel special in their life, but also, stay within my lane and not be like, I'm more special than you, you piece of shit. No, it's like, I make music because I'm emotionally driven, right? To want to make you cry or want to make you happy, right? And it's also about sharing, There's a lot of things that we do that's for selfish reasons. Right, phones, buying more than one phone, getting nice headphones. For me, that's selfish, right? That's not going to help you, But
the only thing that would have made that better is if he actually would have brought his other phone into camera, because then he would have had.
Because I'm using it as a camera.
It literally would have been like, he's wearing. Keep in mind, folks, he's wearing a set of headphones right now.
So that's the iPad. That's the iPad, and then that's the phone.
So
you guys can see the phone.
He would have gone phone, headphones, all in the same frame.
Yeah.
And he's trying to phoneception us.
Phoneception done.
Phoneception over.
Go.
So you produce your own music, as we talked about before. Like, what do you have a piece of do you have multiple pieces of software that you use?
Yeah. So we use you use a Fruity Loop Studio or Pro Tools or some of those, and then within that software you use different softwares that make specific sounds that you want.
Okay, so within there you've already mentioned you download packs, right? So you've got all this. This is complicated. And you're at the beginning of it, right? It's complicated. You can still learn more. All right, but if we do the backup, where you start, we're all into computers, but I don't know, maybe some of us are a little more. Actually, I can tell you that Boog has more computer knowledge than I do about shit. He's in it. He's in the shit. So, but we all have our own thing. And he started somewhere. There was something that he was like, let me break this and put it back together. Don't lie, I know you did, Boog.
Multiple times. Actually, so if you just. I'll give you a little history. My cousin one day, I said something about how I like computers, or I want to learn more about computers. My cousin used to work at this junkyard for computers in the town that my father lived in, and one day he brought a motherboard, processor, some RAM, a graphics card, and a tower with all the components in it, slammed it down and said, figure out which one works and build your own computer. And that's where I started.
There's the start, right? So there's so there's got to be a starting point for you, Bao.
Yeah. So just try to get first. But before I say that, Boog, that's an insane way of learning. You could have like died. Like you could have like they could have exploded on you. You put RAM in wrong or whatever. It's like shocking you. It's like, God damn, you did. Jesus.
That's back in the. There it is. No, that's case in point. That is case in point. The difference between generations before and generations now. Oh my word. Okay, I'm just saying. Here, try it out. Can I get shocked? You can.
And, yep, I was told. Just watch out for the warnings. I mean, have you ever been shocked by a computer? I certainly have. I have had to remove leads from a power supply because it was a newer style power supply to an older style motherboard. And you have to remove the clips and put the clips into a smaller one that they didn't have at the time. So I had to take those, electric tape them together and tape them onto the thing to plug it into my graphics card, right? So when I did that, I had it plugged in like a fucking moron, and the first thing I do, let me just turn that off real quick. Yeah, we're good. Don't worry. I've done it before. Yeah.
I'm a handyman by nature, and I fix all electrical things. And unfortunately, the amount of times that 110 volts has gone through my body is probably scary and probably explains a lot of the problems that I have. But back to your story, Al, about the start of this. Okay, this is a big moment for Al, though.
Yes.
This brings music from your ears and your brain into fruition, into almost like a physical form right in front of you.
Yep.
All right, what's the moment?
Okay, so the first thing I'll say is you don't know what you really want until you've heard it when it comes down to like music.
Yeah.
So like, well, sometimes. Okay. So with that being said, I started off 7th grade, right, at the like the computer tech, class that they had, just a room full of, iMacs, right? And they had, GarageBand on there with some, preset sounds, maybe 500 different sounds you can make, all starting from, intro into the build up into the, like the rise and then the drop, and then you just repeat, right? And they were all super, super mega cheesy. Right?
Yeah.
Bing, 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 ding, 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 right? Some funny shit. And like,
yeah. How'd you know what Boog's favorite song was?
I don't know. It was a good one though. But no, like, I started off on that, and I started learning. I'm like listening to these sounds, and I'm like, oh, you know what? That would sound good with this sound, right? Because they give you a list in the side, and so then you drag and drop, and you do that. So it was really easy, right? GarageBand is, you could be super young and you can make a song. And so, I started making it off that, and I started learning more and more about, in my head, what I want to hear, right? What I want to hear, because when you haven't listened to a lot of music in your life, you can't really go off of like something in your mind. You need to have a lot of ideas in your mind, right? Yeah. And so that's what really started it for me, was like that, like 7th grade, just making, 50 different super stupid dubstep songs that were so easy, just like literally like a drag and drop. Everything is mixed and mastered for you, perfect sounding, everything. And then it went to, I went on, FL Studio, right? I downloaded FL Studio on my laptop.
Was it Fruity Loops when you first started, or was it already FL Studio when you started?
It was called FL, I think it was 11. It was FL 11
before they went to the studio part.
Right, okay. Exactly.
So it's after Fruity Loops. Okay.
Yeah, so it was FL Studio.
I'm old as dirt and whatever. So.
Right, exactly. Well, no. So,
given.
anyway,
Carry on. We're not talking about it anymore.
Regardless.
We have to say
yes.
that you are the youngest person in this chat right now, so I'm just gonna point that out.
I'm definitely the youngest person in this chat.
You didn't have to say definitely and make it seem like it's as big of a gap as it is. I told you to keep talking a little while ago.
Positively. So no question about it. So I made a beat with this guy, with this YouTuber, and he would literally make like a little rap beat using the sounds in FL Studio. And so you wouldn't have to download anything, right? You just download the software and they have like a preset, set of packs. And this guy said, hey, this, I'm gonna make this rap beat, and you just need to follow 100% with me. And if you follow every single step that I do, every single step, you will make the same exact beat that I make. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, let's do it. And it took me 4 hours, right? So I'm watching this guy and, I'm super close up and I'm finding it step by step. And then I make a song for my first time on FL Studio. And I listen to it, I'm like, oh, it sounds so good. Listen to it now, it sounds terrible, right? But what that guy was trying to do for me was make me realize, like, show me the buttons to click, right? Show me the options that I have. And so I'm so serious when I say this. That one fucking video from that one YouTuber is what showed me like the whole of FL Studio almost, right? It was like 80% of it. And then I slowly learned certain things, right? Over time. But he showed you everything. He showed you how to do it.
You're like, oh, I want to figure out how to get this exact wub. I need to learn what compression, whatever.
Yeah, but it was even more like simple than that. It was just like, how do I make a song in the first place, right? You have a software in front of you. Like, how do I even, it started off from unknown, right? I look at FL Studio now, it's my home. But, before it was 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 42 seconds of,
I can attest
history
to exactly how that feels, because I have been playing music for, dare I say, about 30 years. I've been making it with all different instruments. And so I picked up FL Studio and I was like, here it goes, dude. I can make all the backing music that I want to hear. I want drums, bass, and a guitar. That's all I need. I can't do it. I'm a computer guy. I'm a musician. And I can't make a simple backing song. So that just shows when you get to a level with the passion and the enthusiasm that Big Al, PhatAl has. I can't say Big PhatAl. That just
PhatAl.
Big Al. Yeah, Fat Big Al. We'll say it that way. When you get to that level of enthusiasm, to be able to look into FL Studio and see it is nothing short of like Mozart looking at a piano and a piece of paper and just sending it.
That's how I felt when I started editing videos, dude. Like I was like, I can edit any video. I got the software right. What am I doing? Like it just, I had to watch 14 YouTube tutorials and I still have not the foggiest clue. Like the last video that I did, the audio was fucking janky on it. Like it got turned down somehow and I couldn't correct the filter without starting editing again. I'm like, dude, I literally just edited this for like 11 hours. I am not going back and doing that again. Like,
so it's
that's a big
crazy
one,
when you realize something that you think you should understand is so much more in depth.
Doing
it's just like
doing music. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'll leave it to this guy right here to do my music.
For me, it was such a relief because I'm a musical guy, but I am a technical guy, and I like when if you do something else happens, right? If you do, like on the computer, right? You do 110010, and then this happens, right? So it's like that's what I wanted to do, but I also wanted to put in my music side, and so what that video showed me, again, I had to it was, you can literally, okay, it's almost like a simulator, right? Like a Rubik's Cube simulator if you don't know how to do it. And you go, all right, how the hell do you do this? And then you put it in a simulator where all the colors are, and then it'll actually show you how to do it, right? And you're not going to learn anything from it, but that's how I did it. You know, we can all make the same exact beat because it was like scene for scene exactly what you needed to do. And so once you did that, then it's either up to you whether or not you want to learn how to do all the other shit. So on the Rubik's Cube, you want to learn the algorithms and the stages of like how you solve it instead of just, you know, going to a simulator or, you know, going to like a tutorial and just, you know, literally doing exactly what they do. But that's how I started. And that's how you have to start. It's like you have to do things that you don't want to do in order to do things that you do want to do. And that includes, like, I had to make music that I hate, but like I needed to learn. You know, I needed to learn. I need to put experience under my belt. So
here's a phrase for you. There's a difference between learning how to do it and learning how it's done.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between the two.
Exactly. And that's huge. But it all starts with learning how to do it.
For sure.
It all starts. And Morbid just heard gunshots?
Nope.
No?
No, huh?
Just ghosts.
Just ghosts.
Just go. Speaking of that, I was watching The Matrix, so you can't see.
No idea.
What
it
just
was
happened?
probably outside. Maybe tires screeching, or I'm not sure.
I can't wait to talk about it off the podcast.
So here's the thing about living in Maine too. You could be sitting there outside, smoking a butt calmly, and then all of a sudden you hear a baby scream. And it's the most freakiest fucking thing. You want to know what it is? It's one of two things. It's either a fisher or it's a fox.
Yep.
A fox?
A fox. Yeah. They will, dude, it's literally, it sounds like a baby, but screaming, wailing in pain is what it sounds like. But fishers are the worst because you'll be sitting there, laying there, sleeping, and all of a sudden, right outside your window, you'll hear this sound of what it sounds like a baby in pain. And you'll be like, what the fuck, dude? It's crazy. It's so bad. So with that, we're at about an hour and a half. So I think this is a good time to end the video. I really appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks for coming on.
No,
thanks for
so much, man.
Feel free to come back.
This will not be the last time you'll be on here. I'm sure you'll be back again. We'll put all the links to PhatAl and PhatAl Productions in the description of this video, and it is in all of them, I think, because he is the first and only person to ever have our music in the background. Mm-hmm. We appreciate it because it's groovy. Lo-fi, as he calls it.
Lo-fi.
Elevator music. I mean, that's.
I think you just called us old again. I'm gonna say you're pretty
100%, no doubt, guaranteed.
Do you want to shout out anything at all, PhatAl? You want to say anything? You want to end it on a note? You want to?
How about this? Ready? Thanks for watching the Schmuck Club with all of us. We're going to leave it at PhatAl's words of advice, whatever he wants to give to the people. You just take a second and it's all you, and we're going to fade out after that into your music.
Oh, crap. All right, here we go. We're actually... Hold on. You're
Take a second. Take a second.
I need these to be impactful and strong.
I'm not looking at you right now. I promise you, I'm not looking at you right now.
You don't have five people staring at you.
Okay, all right. Oh, you know what? All right. Shout out to my boys, Morbid and Boog, and shout out to the Schmucks Club for having me up in this motherfucker. I really appreciate the Schmucks Club being the third episode. The third episode. Absolutely amazing. So
this is number 4.
Thanks to my dogs. Fourth.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Fourth, okay, you know what? See, and again, and it seems like I'm not a fan enough because I don't know how many episodes. Now, but regardless, shout out to them and shout out to everyone watching. You know, if you got something from this, from me at all, I hope that it's seriously listen to your music and really find out and just think what they're trying to emotionally say to you. Like, are they trying to get you to be emotionally impacted in any way? And when you find that out, find the music that emotionally impacts you the most pleasurable in your life. That's the only advice I have for people: is find music that finds you emotional pleasure, and not only just oh, it sounds so good, make it sound so good and then cry. So that's what I have for people. Thank you very much.
Till next time.
Positivity
Over negativity.
Have a good night, everyone.